Hi everyone, welcome back to Tara Normal. My name is Tara. For today's episode, I kind of wanted to talk about some New Year's predictions. So I'm recording this on New Year's Eve, 2018, and tomorrow is a fresh new year. So I wanted to see and look up what some of the big prophets and some of the just psychics are predicting online. So I went ahead and looked up a few of these, and first off, I have to apologize because my voice may sound a little raspy. I've been sick for the last little while, so hopefully you don't notice it, but if you do, that's why. But anyway, let's just get on with the predictions. So I first looked up a few of the prophets. Edgar Cayce is who I first looked up. He is mostly known as the sleeping prophet. He would go to sleep and basically predict things in his sleep. And he's published a lot of journals and certain scripts about what could happen in the future. Now, one of the first things that he mentioned are exploding drones. So he predicts that we'll have an issue with drones carrying explosives in this year in particular. They'll become more prevalent. I don't know. I think it's kind of been a concern in the past because there's a lot of these drones. Anybody can basically own one. And I guess it's kind of become a concern and a little scary, but and he also predicted that Pope Francis, or the current pope, I don't know that he knew exactly which pope it was, will resign this year. The internet will become officially larger than TV, which is already kind of a thing, so that's not too surprising. 3D printed foods will be perfected and become mainstream. And apparently in Europe, developers are already working on this technology. So basically they're saying that there will be a chemical compound, like cartridge, in your computer that you can purchase, and you can have this chemically altered food product. Sounds kind of disgusting, but I guess if you're desperate and you're looking for another type of food, that could be a good alternative. Now moving on to Nostradamus, and Nostradamus is probably the most known prophet. He's probably written the most articles and published the most books or whatever on the future. And whenever you hear about a prophet, Nostradamus kind of comes up. But he states that in 2019, the sea levels will rise, which is already happening technically because of global warming and, the greenhouse gases being trapped and warming our planet. It's going to rise the sea levels. So that's already kind of happening. China wins war on US, and it's a trade war, so there's already something similar to this going on where China is a huge provider for a lot of our goods, and I guess what Nostradamus is saying is that China will kind of win and we will not be getting our goods for such a cheap fee. So take that as you will. Human implanted microchips will become more mainstream. And in the articles I was reading, it was basically, it showed people using this as a form of identification and payment. So instead of carrying a wallet with you, pretty much, you would just have this chip implanted in your hand or your arm, and away you go. You'd be good to go. You get through airport security because you just basically wave your hand in front of a machine that would tell basically everything about you. So that kind of freaks me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, that's one thing that just really creeps me out. And basically you'd have a tracker on you at all times, and with the way technology is now, people are very smart with it, and they can tap in, and if you had like a stalker or something, someone would be able to tap into your microchip basically and track you. So according to Nostradamus, in this coming year, that's going to become more of a thing, and I can kind of see a lot of people fighting back against it, because I think a lot of people would have the same concerns as I do. So, or at least I think they would, or I'd hope they would. And Nostradamus in 2019 also predicted there would be a new king of England. So basically, the Queen of England on the throne now will pass this year, and Prince Charles will become king. But it also is said that Prince Charles will not reign for very long. So who knows what will happen there. And humans will live on the moon. I don't know, that seems like a lot to happen in 1 year. So we'll see what happens with that. And there will be an alien outbreak from Area 51, which I think is the most interesting prediction. No one else predicted that I saw said that would come true. So I think that'd be really interesting to see what would happen. As most people know, Area 51 is kind of a secret government facility, and there's a lot of testing that goes on there, and it's said that aliens are housed there. So I mean, you can kind of take that how you want. It kind of reminds me, if you've seen the movie Paul, where there's an alien from Area 51 that kind of breaks out and goes on, is on the loose and running from basically the government. It kind of reminds me of that. So I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. And maybe art imitated, our life is imitating art from that or something. So anyway, the next prophet is the blind prophet, and I think she's Russian, and she's kind of a more current prophet, although she's passed. She's not from such a long time ago. Her name is Baba Vanga, and I know I pronounced that wrong, but she's predicted a lot of things, including like our current president and president before, and those sort of things. So she's predicted a lot of political things, but she predicts that there will be massive earthquakes across the world, and named a large earthquake on the west coast of the US. And that's not the first time I've heard somebody name that, so we'll see. She also mentioned that a tsunami will wipe out Asia, and it's going to be pretty catastrophic. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully these, like the natural disaster ones, kind of freak me out a little bit. I don't like to think about that, and it's so sad and devastating. So hopefully those do not happen. And there will be a Europe economic collapse. So not sure exactly details on that, but Also says that the current president will develop a mysterious brain trauma, something coming from sound waves. I don't know, it's all very vague, so I don't know all details, obviously, and it could not be true. And then the last thing on my list for the blind prophet is that Russia will be hit by a giant meteorite. So those are kind of for that prophet for 2019. Now, I also looked up someone current, a psychic basically, and I found someone on YouTube. She goes by Psychic Debbie on YouTube, and she named off quite a few things, and I didn't list everything because it was just such a long thing, and honestly there were quite a few psychic predictions on YouTube, and I picked hers specifically because when I was scrolling through, I'm a big numbers person, and I talked about that in past episodes, but her video was 33 minutes and 55 seconds long, so I thought that was really interesting, and so I wanted to kind of give that a chance. And interestingly enough, one of the first things she mentioned about the year 2019 was that in numerology, it kind of breaks down to the number 3. So 2 plus 1 plus 9 is 12, and then you break that up down even farther, 1 plus 2 is 3. And 3 is a very spiritual number. It's mind, body, spirit. And it's said that with a spiritual number, the veil between the physical earth and the spiritual earth or world is going to be thinning. So things that are put out into the universe will be received back. So law of attraction will be a big thing this year, is what she was saying. And you need to be very careful about what you're wording. She also mentioned something about truths will come out this year. It'll be a year of truth. So if you have a secret that you're trying to keep close to you, you have to keep that protected because it will come out. Now, she went on to talk about the value of Bitcoin going up, and I still don't really understand what Bitcoin is, so forgive me on that, but she said that we will begin purchasing things with Bitcoin, like big ticket things, like gas for cars, or we can book flights or hotels. Basically anything can be purchased using Bitcoin. So whoever got in on that deal, good job. In the fall, there will be a financial crash. I don't know. She didn't really go into that a whole lot, so I don't know details on that. And there will be a cure for rosacea. The cure will be derived from some sort of root or flower. She also mentioned something about there being saliva types, like there is blood types. And the saliva types that researchers are going to discover are kind of going to be discovered with this rosacea cure. So some different things are going to be coming from other things. Now, she also said that there will be a cure for children's cancer, which not all children have the same sort of cancer, so I don't know if she meant children who have cancer, there'll be a cure for that, which would be amazing. But she mentioned that it has something to do with their growth, their pituitary gland, and just the way they grow and develop, it'll have something to do with that. And it will be kind of a good thing for everyone because eventually it will help find certain cures and will kind of tap into other types of cancer for adults as well. So I really hope that one is a true thing. She kept saying spirits is kind of telling me this, so I don't know what she's really tapping into, but she also mentioned large snowstorms in Canada will be coming winter. So I don't know if that again means this winter, the end of this winter, or beginning of next winter, which would technically be next December or whatever. So I don't know when that will be. She didn't give a specific date or anything, but she said that basically the news will kind of warn of this huge weather storm coming through. So she said that when that happens, you should take it very seriously and kind of hunker down, grab your supplies and whatnot, and be prepared because it will cause certain power outages for a few days and it'll cause accidents and stuff. So you definitely don't want to be out and about in something like that. And touching base on this same snowstorm, I guess, that will also affect North Dakota, and they will get record snowfall around the same time, so be prepared, maybe. She also mentioned that the year 2019 will be great for crops, particularly in Missouri, but she didn't mention like crops just in general will be a great year, so good. Flooding in New York, mainly upstate New York, from what she was saying, so I don't know exactly when that will happen, and there will be a lot of earthquakes this year, particularly on the West Coast, and so same as what I believe the Baba Vanga, or whatever her name is. I can never pronounce it, so I feel bad. But same as what she was saying, there will be a large earthquake. They mentioned, I know there's a huge fault line in California, and I don't believe it's that. Nobody really mentioned California. Everybody's kind of mentioned Washington State, so more northern. But I think it will affect others going south. So I don't know fault lines. So I don't know if there is a fault line that connects, all the way down the West Coast or what have you. But apparently that could be a thing. And because of the large amount of earthquakes, it will kind of affect the shift in the plates, which will affect volcanoes, and there will be some volcano eruptions this year. So if you want to look up more about what Psychic Debbie was saying, you can just find her on YouTube, and I believe her handle is just Psychic Debbie, so have fun with all of that. Some of these predictions I hope come true. Some of them I definitely don't want to come true. So I don't know. I guess we'll kind of take it all with a grain of salt. And I think there is kind of something with predictions, like the predictions of earthquakes, natural disasters. I feel like those things just happen every year regardless, and it could happen, and it's kind of a easy prediction, I would say. And there are certain like scientific things that are we're already on the brink of discovering or starting to do or whatever, and so I feel like that's kind of an easy prediction, but I don't know, what do I know? But I hope you all have a very safe and amazing 2019. Definitely put everything you want out into the universe and hopefully you receive it. And I hope it's all very beautiful and prosperous for all of you. So have a great year. Have a great day. Thanks.